Okay, so now it's 2 after 4 here in Brazil. Welcome everyone. Sejam todos muito bem-vindos e bem-vindas a mais um webinar do Education USA. Não sei se todo mundo já sabe o que é o Education USA, mas nós somos a organização vinculada ao Departamento de Estado dos Estados Unidos e realmente a fonte oficial sobre estudos nos Estados Unidos, né? Então a gente tem essa missão de trazer informações atualizadas, abrangentes, sobre como fazer essa trajetória de seguir os seus sonhos de estudar lá nos Estados Unidos. E a gente tem uma série de webinars, esse ano foi repleto de webinars, imagino, se eu não me engano, esse é o último desse ano, pelo menos aqui no nosso escritório do Education USA na Mackenzie, em São Paulo, né? Se vocês não sabem, o Education USA está presente em 40 escritórios por todo o país, em mais de 400 centros por todo o mundo, então você com certeza tem um escritório mais próximo de você. Atualmente a gente está trabalhando todos virtualmente, então você pode escolher qual escritório você quer seguir o seu processo, né? A gente te ajuda desde orientações personalizadas, individuais, que a gente ajuda no seu processo de candidatura, até traduções certificadas que são utilizadas também, né? Lembrando sempre que tudo que você vai enviar para a universidade precisa estar em inglês, né? Então a sua documentação acadêmica, financeira, o que a universidade pedir, precisa ser traduzida para ser enviada, e nós do Education USA oferecemos esse serviço, além de vários outros serviços que a gente tem para vocês e ajudar vocês nesse processo, como o Essay Writing Resource Center, que é um serviço gratuito, um curso que você consegue fazer, tem mais informações no nosso site. Tudo isso você encontra realmente no nosso site, educationusa.org.br. Tem também o nosso YouTube, EducationUSA Brasil, que tem mais informação, e particularmente de São Paulo, você encontra a gente no Facebook e Instagram como Education USA São Paulo. So, no further ado, I'd like to welcome everyone for this session with the 8 amazing higher education institutions that are here with us, and I'll pass the floor to you, Katie. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great presentation.
Thank you. Boa tarde, todos. It's so nice to be here with you today. Thank you, Luana and David, for welcoming Study Washington to today's presentation. My name is Katie Van Wyk. I'm the Assistant Director of Global Outreach at Tacoma Community College, and you'll get a chance to learn more about us and all of the institutions here today later on. But first, we want to start with a big thank you to Education USA Brasil for inviting us to be here with you today. They are a wonderful resource for you, and we hope that you will visit the office closest to your home and utilize their expertise and their help throughout your journey coming to the United States. So first of all, who are we? We are Study Washington. Study Washington is a consortium of colleges, universities, and organizations that are here to help you learn more about the great state of Washington. And so today we actually have 9 colleges and universities. There are many of us here hoping to share more about our institution with you and why you should choose the state of Washington for your studies. So on the screen, we have the 9 institutions who are here today. And like I said, each one will be able to share a little bit about who they are and why we all offer something great, and you should choose our state for your studies in the US. So just a quick reminder of where Washington State is. So we are not the capital. We are actually way in the Northwest USA. So distance from Brazil, you're looking at about a 14 to 16 hour flight. I visited Sao Paulo, Rio, Recife before. It's an easy flight on over, and it's a wonderful country that you're from, and we hope that you'll come and study in Washington. So kicking us off, I'm going to pass it to my colleague Bjorn for the next slide.
Thank you, Katie. My name is Bjorn Myrie. I work for Washington State University. But first I want to talk about Washington as the evergreen state. So our nickname is the evergreen state because we're very green. We have lots of trees. Pine trees or evergreen trees never lose their needles, so that's why we're always green. It also rains a lot in Seattle. So this is a picture here of the Space Needle and the Seattle skyline. Seattle is the largest city in the state. It's not the capital. Olympia is a state capital. And Olympia is kind of a medium to small size city. But we were named after our first United States president, George Washington. Seattle has about 1 million people in the city. The whole state of Washington has about 7.5 million people. And we have a very strong economy throughout the state. Seattle gets a lot of attention in the suburbs for all the great tech companies and aerospace, and maybe you've heard of our coffee company. that we'll talk about a little bit later. But whether you study in Seattle or in our other cities and college towns across the state, it is a great place to visit. It's very fun. Seattle is kind of where the mountains and the ocean meet. And so we do have great geographic and cultural and urban diversity throughout the whole state. Next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stacy, and I work for Central Washington University. So in addition to the great natural beauty of our state, as you can see from the pictures on your screen, another great opportunity of studying in Washington is some of the work and internship options. Washington State is home to huge internationally known companies like Starbucks, Microsoft, Boeing, Amazon, and many more. Seattle, as Bjorn mentioned, is the largest city in our state. And yes, it's a strong tech hub. Many don't know that it's actually the second largest tech market here in the United States. So Seattle actually brings in lots of tech companies and other work opportunities around the state for our students. Companies such as Hulu, Snapchat, Twitter, Google, Facebook, all have offices here in Washington State. And yes, our students are finding jobs with those companies. We have students doing internships at Microsoft, at Google, at Facebook, and you don't have to be a computer science or IT major. You could be studying graphic design, business, accounting, and still find jobs and work experiences with those great companies. We also have a high minimum wage. So whether you're working on campus as a student worker during your time here in Washington State, or for those work opportunities once you graduate, the wage you're receiving is a lot higher here in Washington than in other parts of the United States. And then besides tech, we have other great industries. We're a huge agricultural state. We grow everything from apples, potatoes, raspberries, hops, peaches, blueberries, you name it. We have a lot of different agriculture growing around the state. I mentioned aerospace. So if you're interested in studying whether it's aviation maintenance, management, professional pilot, we are a great state to study that at our community colleges and universities because it's also a large industry here within the state. And then finally, healthcare is very popular here, especially now during the pandemic. Students studying public health, nursing, medical research are finding those internship and work experiences here in the state. And then I'll pass it along to my colleague, Trina.
Ciao, everybody. My name is Trina. I'm with the Community Colleges of Spokane, and I'm going to tell you even more great things about Washington. We want you to understand the beauty of our location in the USA. As you can see on the screen, there's a variety of landscapes, and literally in the state of Washington, you'll find desert, you'll find mountains, a coastline, lakes, rivers. Anything you want to do on the outside, you can do here. We are blessed with very clean, fresh air in our area of the United States, and we have 4 seasons, clear 4 seasons. So you will experience snow if you come to certain parts of the state, and our summers are very dry and hot. So it's a really nice chance to get to feel and experience the variety of opportunities. You'll find yourself doing lots of things outside. We spend time out of doors, and the people that live in the Northwest where we are very easygoing people, and we appreciate the environment and the beauty that surrounds us. That guides a lot of our decisions. Many of the places that we represent today are located in smaller cities or even a college town. And this is a benefit to you because a lot of these places offer a lower cost of living and a better overall experience that minimizes your stress of living in a big city. So we really hope you can enjoy the outdoor activities and even the indoor activities while you're studying. We've got aquariums and zoos and amusement parks and everything to hopefully not distract you from your studies too much here in Washington. Next.
Hello, my name is Mark from Green River College. And as you can see from the map of Washington State, all of the representatives here are representing institutions from all across the entire state of Washington. And Washington State has a great higher educational system. In fact, it was ranked #3 in the entire United States in 2018. And there are many different types and sizes of schools. So we have universities and colleges that are as small as 1,500 students to as large as 46,000 students. Some have one single campus and others have multiple campuses across the state of Washington. The colleges and universities are also located in all different areas, like Trina said, some in small towns, others in suburban areas, or even large cities and urban areas. And the different types of institutions include liberal arts universities and colleges, community and technical colleges, research universities, and all of these can be both private and public. In the state of Washington altogether, there are over 27,000 international students studying. So we have a large international student population across the different institutions within Washington state. And that number actually ranks the state of Washington number 11 across the entire United States for the number of international students enrolled. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and I work at Ever Community College, and I'm going to share with you the community college benefits for you. So what do we offer? We are actually offering a 2+2 university transfer program, so to speak. What we do is that we offer first year and second year of your college studies, and then after you complete it, you can find a full-year institutions to transfer to. So this is what we call the guaranteed pathway with university transfer partnerships. And many of our universities within the Washington state we all have that kind of partnership. So when you transfer, it would be really easy for you. And oftentimes, community colleges would also have English language programs, so ESL classes. Also, we would have workforce and skill development degree or certificate programs available for you, your choice. And what is this for? It's for everybody. Depending on where you are in your life, we have something for you. And oftentimes, even within the United States, about 50% of our students actually starts at a community college. Because there are a lot of reasons. Number one would be easy admission, right? There's often no ACT or SAT admission requirements, or often even no TOEFL or IELTS requirement either. And we don't usually ask a whole lot of GPA. So if you're not doing great in high school, no problem. We can start anew in community colleges. We welcome you. And oftentimes the application process is definitely very, very easy for you as well. And also other benefits includes that we do have lower tuitions and fees for many of us. We actually, comparing to other schools, it is much lower comparing to their tuition. And a really great benefit is the small class sizes. So I don't know about you, when I was an international student too. When I first came here, going to a university classroom, oftentimes it's a huge class of 200 people, and it can be scary. So community colleges with the small class sizes makes it easier for people to learn, to make connections, to make friends, or even just to talk to teacher, really. And oftentimes we also have individualized support and encouraging atmosphere. So many of us who works at an international office does have that personal connection with many of our students. We're kind of like a family in a sense. We're all really we have parties and we celebrate, and we do have that kind of encouraging environment for all of our international students. And you get to actually experience, like Mark was saying, even though oftentimes we could be in the suburban area or even a rural area, the convenience is still there. You can travel to Seattle just for a day trip just to explore and see what the big cities is all about. But at the same time, still have that benefit of, being able to go places to see it all for yourself. But most importantly to me, what's really important is that for community colleges, if you are completing your degree with us, you get to actually do OPT, which is to get a work experience 2 times. So after you completed a degree in community college, you can actually work for 1 year, and then you can transfer to your university, finish your year 3 and year 4 study. Once you finish your bachelor's degree, you can do OPT another year. So by the time you complete this whole track, you would have 2 American degrees and 2 years of work experience, which put you really far ahead in on your resume when you're looking for jobs in the future. Next slide, please. So just to briefly touch on, I'm from Everett Community College, which is on the northeast corner of Washington State. So like I said earlier, we do have many programs to choose from. We have excellent STEAM program, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. But we also have vocational and technical programs. So for example, we have aviation maintenance, avionics, a lot of medical programs as well. So there are many things to choose from. And it's definitely affordable. We do a lot of transferable 2+2 programs with a lot of our students. And it's a great way to start your career. And I would like to say that it doesn't really matter where you are. If you are really young, just finishing high school, we do have ESL classes or degree programs for you. If you have already had a university degree, we have certificate programs for you that you can bring back home and say, hey, can you give me a promotion and a raise? I want more money for my job, please. So depending on where you are, it is definitely a great way for you to start your academic career and or your professional career. So if you want to talk more and have any more questions, you're very welcome to connect with us on social media, on Facebook or Instagram at EVCC International. Next, please.
Hello again, Mark from Green River. Green River College is located just south of Seattle, about 40 minutes by car. And we are actually the #1 2-year college in Washington State for the number of international students enrolled. Last year, we had over 1,200 international students from over 60 different countries. Our total student body is about 10,000 students. And we actually offer 4-year bachelor's degrees as well in 8 different areas, including information technology, business, and aviation. So you could become an air traffic controller or a commercial airline pilot at Green River. But we also have over 100 different transfer degrees that's part of the 2+2 transfer program. Our tuition is very low, $10,350 US per academic year for tuition. So we have a lot of specialized programs. Like I said, the university transfer pathways, where you start at Green River for the first 2 years of your university bachelor degree, and then transfer to any number of universities to complete your bachelor's degree. You can also come to Green River and complete your high school diploma. So even if you have not graduated from high school yet, you can come to Green River and start taking university credit classes and also meet your high school graduation requirements at the same time. So it's a great way to save money and time while studying in the United States. We also have a great peer mentorship program that helps you adjust to the transition from coming from your home country, Brazil, to the United States to study, that will help you learn the skills necessary to become a great student as you continue on. As part of our transfer program, we have 40 different partner schools that actually guarantee admission as long as you meet certain conditions such as grade point average and certain classes taken. And you can transfer within the United States or even in Canada or Europe. So we have a lot of transfer opportunities where you can start in Washington State and then have a great experience either transferring to another institution within the state or beyond. We also have created great alumni groups in some of our top transfer universities. For new students coming in, they can meet other Green River students that have done the same thing that they have. So it's a great ready-made family at your new campus to help you get adjusted. And you can Apply anytime. There are no deadlines, and there are no entrance exams required to get into Green River. And we have great student-faculty ratio. So 21 students to 1 faculty, which means a lot of hands-on help and small classes so that you can really have a great atmosphere to learn. Thank you.
Ciao, everybody. It's Trina again. To tag on to my colleagues and friends, their colleges that is very similar to ours, the Community College of Spokane, the city of Spokane. So if you remember from the earlier slide, we're on the eastern part of the state, about 4.5 hours drive to Seattle on the other side. But before I get started to quickly tell you about our college, I wanted to clarify now, and we'll have more time to talk about it throughout the presentation, but everyone you see here today, we're all partners. We all of our schools work together. So if you're just learning about this 2+2 and you're really not still sure exactly what we mean, for example, my colleague Bjorn at Washington State University or Stacy at Central Washington University, we have students that transfer to those 2 universities from our college. Same with Everett, same with Green River. So you can start with a community college, transfer onto a university, or for example, maybe you want to just start at a university directly, such as Whitworth University. These are the options you have with all of us here today in Washington State. It gets a little confusing, so I wanted to make sure you understood options are the key to studying in the US. So enough of that. Really quickly, I just wanted to tell you similar talking points about our college as the others. We offer over 100 scholarships for you. You would hopefully study with us for 2 years, and both of those 2 years you are eligible to apply for over 100 scholarships. Our tuition is very low cost, so that's a help right off the bat to save you money. We also offer short programs. So if you don't want to come and study for a long term, you can come and do a 1-year certificate or even study experience for 6 months, for example, in the summertime, or if you're taking a break from your studies in Brazil. So there's a lot of different options for you. I did also want to mention the sunshine. I like to talk about Spokane in that it's a Native American Indian name. The Spokane Indian tribe was here in this region before the European Americans. And the city of Spokane, the name Spokane means children of the sun, which tells you a lot. It's, we have a lot of sunshine here on this side of the state, so you'll feel very comfortable and when doing the outdoor activities I mentioned earlier. So I hope you enjoy the rest of this presentation and that you are going to ask us a lot of questions. We love talking to you one-to-one. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Trina. So again, my name is Katie Van Wyk, and I represent Tacoma Community College. So we're the last community college that you'll hear from today. And I want to focus on Tacoma as a city. And so there are lots of different places represented today. Tacoma is on the western side of Washington. It's the 2nd largest city in Western Washington, and we are an urban campus. So Tacoma is a city with a lot of energy. It has a great art scene. It has a lot of strong industry, and it is close to Seattle, but most students really focus on staying and building their life in Tacoma when they come and study on our campus. Part of the way they do that is we focus on a homestay placement. So we are the community's college, and we want students to connect with Tacoma to feel at home. And so we place our new students in a local host family where they get to know that local culture, get to know about our city. Perhaps their family will take them to the zoo or to a sporting event or something fun. We do not have residence halls on campus, so that host family component is a really important part of studying at Tacoma Community College. Just like my colleagues, many different areas of study ranging from business, engineering, psychology, even the arts like music. So a lot of great opportunity for you to start your undergraduate bachelor's degree or study English on our campus. You're eligible to begin as early as age 16 for that high school completion program, but there is no age limit on the upper end. You're welcome to start any time in your life, and we welcome you. Tacoma is a smaller community. We have 250 international students. Currently, about 10 are from Latin America, and so not a huge population, but definitely where you can find some familiarity, but also meet people from other parts of the world. This year, we had 2 Brazilian students graduate, and they went to the University of Washington, Seattle, and the University of Washington, Tacoma. So they both chose to stay in the state of Washington because we are a great place to study. So contact information is on this slide and the one later, and we definitely look forward to your questions.
Thanks, Katie. My name is Casey Egger. I work at Western Washington University, and I'm going to transition into public universities. I know this is probably more familiar to most of you in the audience, so I won't get too deep into the weeds with this, but I'll start with just basic information in knowing or sharing that public universities, we collect a lot of our operating funds from federal and state governments, local state governments. So we are state operated or state funded, and this allows us to make our tuition costs much more affordable than other schools and more affordable to the average student. Washington State in general, when comparing and contrasting with other states in the United States, such as California, New York, or Massachusetts, has a really affordable tuition. You'll find sometimes that our average tuition is about half the cost of those states. So that's a good place to start. Many of the larger universities in the United States are public universities, and we're home to state-of-the-art research facilities. This is typically what draws students to these public universities. State-of-the-art science labs, teaching hospitals, and really great libraries. And not only do these really attract great students, but they attract top teachers. So some of the best known and best minds or world-renowned professors, they are working here at public state universities. And they're giving the students the benefit of learning from the best in their field while having access to those cutting edge technologies that I mentioned. And because public universities tend to be larger, that means oftentimes that we will have a more diverse student body, or at least at the very most, that the student body will be diverse. And having a diverse student body provides you and many of our students with deeper educational opportunities. So students will work collaboratively with other students from different backgrounds, and in doing so, be exposed not only to this new culture in the United States, but maybe cultures from other parts of the world that they haven't experienced, Africa, Europe, Asia. And while we don't think that sometimes bigger is better in education, it does help sometimes. At public state universities, you often find more degree choices. You'll find a wider array of out-of-class experience, such as athletics, clubs, organizations, and other opportunities to network on campus. So sometimes bigger can be better in education. And then last, like many of the other colleges, we will have career services for you to help you find internships in CPT, as well as work opportunities in OPT. And the cool thing also about public state university is that we oftentimes will have graduate programs. So you can seamlessly transfer or transition right into your graduate program, whether that's a master's or even potentially a PhD. Next slide, Katie, thank you. Now I get to be the first one up in terms of the gauntlet of public universities. I'm really excited to share some information with you about Western. I represent Western as the manager for international admissions here, but I was also an alum. I'm also an alum from Western. I graduated way back in 2002 with degrees in linguistics and psychology. I chose Western almost at the beginning exclusively because it was pretty close to home, and I had heard great things about their academics. I had friends attend there. But after visiting campus, as you can see there, I fell in love with the atmosphere, the beauty, and everyone was just so friendly, so accessible. As I got to know a little bit more, some of these other things I'll share with you, I knew that Western was definitely the place that I wanted to go to school. And you'll find that many students who attend Western, after graduating, we cannot wait to get back to Bellingham. We're all trying to find a job in Bellingham after we graduate. And I'm lucky to, 8 years later, have come back to Bellingham and work for the university. So Western, we're a medium-sized city in Bellingham. So we are actually the northernmost university in the contiguous United States. That's a fun fact. So don't count Alaska, but in the US, lower US, we're the northernmost. That doesn't mean it snows a ton here. We actually get less rain and less snow than Seattle. But a medium-sized city, we were ranked the #1 best college town in the state of Washington. And I think that's because it is so welcoming, but it also provides some really great opportunities, being right in the middle of Seattle, big cities like Seattle, but also only about an hour away from Vancouver, Canada. So if you're looking to experience another country, we're just a half hour from the border. We have over 300 international students from 40 different countries, including Brazil. And in fact, the director of admissions here at Western Washington University, he originally started as an international student from Brazil as well. His name is Cesar Mesquita, and he is amazing and has had a wonderful journey and has found himself here at Western, and we're so happy and lucky to have him. Our tuition is about $23,000 a year, but we do also offer international student scholarships up to $10,000 a year. And that's just based on your overall grades, your GPA. You don't have to write an extra essay or anything like that. You apply, we look at your transcripts, and if your GPA or overall grades fall into the range of, if you're looking at American GPA 3.0 and above, you automatically get a scholarship up to $10,000 a year. So that's over 40% off of your tuition here at Western. That's a pretty good scholarship. We're happy to be able to offer that. And for the past 20 years, we've been ranked the #1 regional university here in the Pacific Northwest. We're happy and proud of that title. We get that oftentimes. We are recognized not only because of the academics, but because as a teaching university, we are really focused on student success, and particularly at the undergraduate level. We really want our students to excel. We want them to find a program that meets and matches their needs, and you'll have a lot of faculty interaction. So thanks for sharing a little bit of time with me, and I hope to share my contact at the end of the presentation. And pass it on to my colleague. I believe it's going to be Stacy. No, Bjorn.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bjorn. I work for Washington State University. Washington State is a public university. If you can't tell by the name, we are funded by the state of Washington. And we're in the direct opposite corner of the state from where Casey was talking about. Western Washington is in Bellingham. Washington State University's largest and oldest campus is in Pullman, Washington. So Pullman is in Southeast Washington. It's been there for about 130 years. And we have always been what's called a land-grant public university, in the sense that our mission is to serve the public. Our mission is to spread the research knowledge out into the community. We have extension offices in every county of the state of Washington. So our other locations in Vancouver, Washington, not Canada, Everett, Washington, Spokane, those campuses grew in the last 30 or 40 years to increase our access, to increase our mission to serve the public community. And our community in the international programs office is a global community. We do have about 2,000 international students from over 100 countries. I just looked at the report. We have 15 Brazilian students, and we love to have more. So bring your friends and family over to Washington State. Pullman campus has about 20,000 students, and it's a Tier 1 R1 research university. So research university means everybody's doing research, no matter if you're a history major, nursing major, biology, chemistry, business major. All of our students do research, and all of our professors are drawn to the university for their research experience. You know, some of the research they do is around coronaviruses in animals. They've been researching coronaviruses for decades because it's nothing new. It is a new thing affecting humans in the last few years, but they research animal science there. We have a great veterinary medicine program in the top 5 in the nation. So the difference between Washington State and a lot of community colleges, we have master's degrees, we have PhD programs, we do research. You know, a community college focuses on teaching and really helping students with the first 2 years of your bachelor's degree, the foundation, the fundamentals. And usually at community colleges, you don't do a lot of deep research. We're at a university like Washington State or a private university or some others, you do that research. And then you can get published, and then that can help you go on to a master's degree or get a job, of course. And so we have a great set of campuses, and you can transfer from a community college to any of our campuses as a transfer student. You could start as a first-year student in Pullman, Washington. And I don't think I have another slide with admission information. So, but we have 200 fields of study, about 100 bachelor's degrees and majors that you could choose from as a first year or transfer student. We do have automatic merit scholarships if you have good grades coming from high school or a community college that are up to $4,000. And there are other scholarships and financial aid opportunities for merit at WSU, but we can talk about those another time. I'll pass the slide show on to my friend at Central Washington, moving back to the middle of the state.
Great, thanks, Bjorn. So we're going to end with the public universities represented today in the middle of the state where Central Washington University is. I'm Stacy, and I've been working at Central for about 6 years now. Central's actually in a small town called Ellensburg at the base of the Cascade Mountains. So Mount Stewart is our beautiful backdrop to our safe, friendly town. So very easy access to anything that you might want to pursue or try outdoors, whether it's camping, fishing, rafting, biking, snowshoeing, etc. We're close to Seattle. We're only about 90 kilometers from Seattle, so it's an easy shuttle ride over to explore the big city, or if you want to move there once you graduate for those work opportunities. Here at Central, we have about 12,000 students. We have about 450 international students coming from 66 countries, including Brazil. And while that might seem like a large population of students, we keep class size small. So the average class size is only 20 students. The biggest class you'd ever be in is only 40 students. So that means you always know your faculty and professor. You have opportunities for group work, research, and really getting to know the community and being a part of Central's community. Lots of different majors to study from, whether you're interested in computer science, business, sports management, fashion design, aviation, biology. We might have the degree for you. Our students are successful at Central because they are involved in and out of the classroom. And what I mean by that is that they're participating in research projects. Like I have an international student who built a robot to help people with disabilities. I had another international student from Venezuela who joined our rocket club, and they built a rocket last year and were able to launch it here in Central Washington. So our students are engaged, they're doing fun activities, they're doing research, and really experiencing all that the university life can offer. I think one of our #1 reasons that international students study here at Central is our great scholarships, which makes it much more affordable to study at Central. So we do have an international student scholarship. It is automatically awarded to all international students at the time of admissions based on your grades, so your academics. No test scores are required. The scholarship is up to 50% reduction in tuition and fees. It's renewed every year as long as you maintain grades, and can be combined with a number of other scholarships, which we have over 300 of them that you can apply for once you're a student here at Central. I look forward to speaking with you more about your opportunities at Central Washington.
Hi everyone, my name is Teresa and I work at Gonzaga University, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. But first I want to talk to you a little bit about private universities. So my colleagues have shared a bit about community colleges, what community colleges are and the benefits, and public institutions. And in the United States, there are private institutions as well. And so within that category of private universities, there are a variety of sizes of institutions, from large universities to small colleges. And then there's a variety in what they focus on. So some have a liberal arts focus, and so that's where there's a broad education in arts, sciences, and humanities. And others have more specific focus on subjects like fine arts or technology. Private institutions can be secular or religious. And then many offer merit or need-based aid. So when you're looking at institutions and you're looking at the cost, you may notice that the tuition is often higher at private universities and colleges. And it's important to know that along with that, scholarships may also be higher at private institutions. So when you're looking at schools, you're going to want to look at the overall cost, so at the tuition, but you're also going to want to look at what scholarships, whether they're merit-based or need-based, because your total cost may end up being similar or even lower to a public institution, depending on what types of merit or need-based aid are available. At private institutions, the focus is often on the teaching of undergraduate students. That's often a primary responsibility of faculty. And with that come excellent undergraduate research opportunities at small and medium-sized private institutions. So there's often a lot of great research opportunities at the undergraduate level. Next slide, please. So Gonzaga University is located on the eastern side of Washington State. You heard from Trina Allen at the Community Colleges of Spokane earlier, and you'll hear from Whitworth University next, and all three of our institutions are located in the city of Spokane. Gonzaga is a private institution. We are also liberal arts. We are a Catholic university in the Jesuit tradition, and we welcome students from all faith backgrounds. So Jesuit education is world renowned for providing holistic development with a focus on mind, body, and spirit. And at Gonzaga, that's what we focus on, a concept called cura personalis, which is the Latin term for care of the whole person. So we really want to help you develop academically, but we also want to help you develop in your faith and develop in all areas of your life as well. So here at Gonzaga, we have just over 5,200 undergraduate students who come from almost all 50 states and about 40 countries. We offer over 75 undergraduate academic programs in 5 colleges: the College of Arts and Sciences, the School of Business Administration, School of Education, School of Engineering and Applied Science, and School of Nursing and Human Physiology. We do also offer graduate programs, and we have an English as a second language program for students who need to build their English skills. After completing the English as a second language program, students are able to move into undergraduate studies at Gonzaga. And we've also had students do our English program and then start their undergraduate studies at a community college before transferring back to Gonzaga or to another 4-year institution. So that could be an option as well. Within all of our academic programs, there's an emphasis on interdisciplinary and hands-on experiences, such as research and internships and fieldwork. And with an average class size of 22, a student-faculty ratio of 11:1, and faculty teaching courses and labs, we're able to offer really personal attention and advising. We're ranked in the top 20% among national universities, and we have happy students with 94% success, 94% continuing after the first year, and then also a 94% success rate among class of 19 graduates. And so what we look at when we look at the success rate is we look at 3 things. So we look at students who are either working in graduate school or doing full-time service work after graduating. And then finally, we also offer merit-based scholarships for all students, and international students are eligible for them. There's a range of scholarships available up to a maximum of $24,000 per year for first-year students. And then there's also some other institutional scholarships that you may be eligible to apply for. So next. Marie, I think you're muted.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Marie Whalen. I'm the Associate Director of International Admissions and Recruitment at Whitworth University. We are a private Christian liberal arts and sciences university located in Spokane, and we recently celebrated 130 years. So, as a liberal arts and sciences university, we have a very specific educational and learning model. And that is one that is highly interdisciplinary. So for example, students will focus intently on their major, but at the same time, they will also be taking courses in other disciplines, and they will be experiencing classes in which they will be team taught by professors from different departments. And the reasoning for this is to help students develop a really innovative way of thinking about their major, about world issues. And it just fosters a type of innovative thinking mindset and an ability to creatively problem solve and effectively communicate that makes our students highly successful. At a liberal arts and sciences university, students sometimes think you have to be like an art major or maybe just studying a science, but really we have majors in every type of discipline. So yes, you can study art at Whitworth, but we have a lot of students, and especially a lot of international students, who are studying health sciences, biology, biochemistry. They're studying computer science and engineering and business, finance, accounting. Psychology and international studies are also popular with our students. So really, regardless of what your area of interest is, chances are that there is a major at Whitworth that is right for you. And because we keep our classes small, there is a strong mentoring culture at Whitworth. Your professors will know who you are. They are actively engaged in teaching you. You will not experience being taught by graduate students, as can happen in some of the larger institutions. And this model of teaching also allows students to engage in research with their professors and to have assistance in gaining internships. It's also part of the reason why Whitworth has consistently been ranked as #1 or #2 for best undergraduate teaching in the West United States. It's because of that dedication, that expertise and commitment. And what this all translates into is a very high level of success for our international students. To begin with, we have a graduation guarantee that you will be able to graduate in 4 years if you follow an academic plan set up by you and your academic advisor. Our graduates, our international graduates, over the last 5 years, 100% have been admitted to graduate schools who have applied for that in the US and abroad. We have very recent graduates who are currently studying for our master's programs at Yale University, PhDs at Georgia Tech and Georgetown University. We have international students admitted to or studying at Tulane School of Medicine, St. Louis School of Medicine. And those are really just a few of the institutions that admit Whitworth graduates. At the same time, we also have had 100% success rate for students applying for optional practical training. And in the past 5 years, all but one of our many students have been successful in finding full-time employment in their direct career fields in the US through the OPT program. Finally, I would like to talk about scholarships and partnerships. So for first-year students, we offer academic scholarships up to $28,000 per year, as well as talent scholarships for students who are interested in things like music, art, robotics, to name a few. And we also have transfer academic scholarships for students coming from community colleges. So Whitworth University is partnered with most of the community colleges that are represented here today, as well as with some other Washington State community colleges, guaranteeing admission and a scholarship for those who are admitted. So, you know, either way, whether you're interested in Whitworth as a first-year student or you're thinking about starting at the, you know, transfer level, either way is a good option. I would also like to point out that in addition to scholarships, Whitworth does offer need-based aid options for students as well. Thank you. Next slide. Finally, COVID is a big factor right now in everyone's lives, regardless of where you are located. And so students right now may be wondering, should I apply during this pandemic to colleges for fall 2021? And the answer is yes, absolutely, because, you know, vaccines have been developed and you know, it's still many months until our colleges and universities begin their academic year in the fall. So you should definitely be thinking about that. And Washington State is a great place to think about. It's a safe place to start your higher education. And in part because we have different options for international students. All of us have some option for online or remote learning. Currently, some of my colleagues' universities are completely online, but some of us, like Gonzaga University and Whitworth, our campuses are actually open, and we have students taking in-person classes or a hybrid model where they're taking both in-person classes and online classes. So whatever appeals to you most, whatever you think is representative of the experience that you want to have during this time, if COVID is still ongoing, there is an option for you at one or more of our colleges and universities. Applying is also easy. Our universities and colleges are test optional for the SAT and ACT, so that's something you don't need to worry about. Scholarships are available, and a lot of us also have housing options. Some, like Whitworth, guarantee housing on campus for international students. And, you know, additionally, you may have other questions about applying during this time. And we want you to know that we are here for you. We really encourage you, if you're interested in one or more of our colleges, to, you know, contact us, email us, and set up a time for a virtual appointment where we can talk to you, we can answer your questions, and really help you through the selection and application process. We know, especially, you know, applying to college is always stressful for students, but especially now during this pandemic, we are all doing everything we can to ease the stress for you as a student, to make things as easy as possible. So do contact us, do let us help you with this process. And really, now is a great time to think about your goals and what you want to do once this pandemic is over, where you want to live, where you want to work and study. And I hope my colleagues and I have shown you that, you know, our state here of Washington is really a great place for anyone to come for their higher education. And in fact, once you're here, you may not want to leave. Thank you.
So we want to say just a big thank you again to Education USA Brazil and to all of the students listening in today. You can find all of our contact information on the slide. And I know we all would be more than happy to take any questions if there are. Luana, do you see questions in the chat that we might be able to answer for students?
Hi, Kate. Yes, we haven't had any questions yet. I think maybe the students were waiting for the end of the presentation. So now is the time for everyone that has been watching this presentation to ask away. And we always say that it's important to take advantage of this opportunity to talk directly to the people that are in the institutions and can give you a better sense of what you're getting into, right? And I think also something that was great about this presentation was how you talked about each institution. And I think many times when students are thinking about applying for an undergraduate program, they think about the major only and not how they're applying to an institution, how it's important to feel welcome, to feel great in that state, in that city. So I think you all did a great job at pointing out the differences between your campuses, your institutions. And I think it's also important to remember to all students that there are over 40,000 universities, 4,000, right? Yes, I always get those confused, hundreds and thousands. But there are mais de 4,000 instituições in the United States. So there's always one or more than one that are the best fit for you, right? So thinking about what you're looking for as a student is very important. So what are your priorities? What do you want in an institution? And that will guide your research also, right? I think for many students, this might be the first step. I don't know if they want to share, if the students want to talk about where, in which station of their education they're in, what they're looking for. I think for many students, this might be the first opportunity to learn more about the higher education system. So it's interesting to see there are so many different types of institutions. Right, so we see here a question from Anna asking if is it possible to have a scholarship for psychology through Education USA. Something that I would like to point out, Education USA is connected to the Department of State, and we are here to offer information. We do not have any type of scholarships, but as was mentioned in this presentation, the institutions, the American institutions, offer scholarships. So you also you always have to check with the institution that you are applying to if they have scholarships. And also it's more about, especially it depends on what level of education you are interested in. And I don't know if you're looking for an undergraduate program, a graduate program. And it's also something that is interesting to say. Undergraduate program is a graduação in Brazil, and a graduate program is pós-graduação in the US. So a graduate program might be mestrado, doutorado, or even especialização, extensão. So those are graduate programs. I should say graduation, I think she means a graduate program, right? So you have finished your undergraduate program here. You would like to continue your education in psychology in the US. So I don't know if any of you can talk a little bit about how it works, the scholarship process for a graduate program, to see if Anna understands that a little better.
I can talk about that real quick. So my university has 60 or 70 different master's degrees and 50 or 60 doctorate programs. At my university, we do graduate admission separately based on each academic department. And so the admission requirements and the application process and the scholarships or the financial aid is all different based on each program. And I think you'll find that at a lot of universities, that scholarships really depend on which major and program you're going into. At some universities for graduate studies, you can get what's called a fellowship or a teaching assistantship, which is where you get your tuition maybe waived or discounted so that you can do some research for the university or do some teaching for the university. So some graduate level students at any university, whether they're American or international, they might teach undergraduate students some introductory level courses to get like a scholarship or a tuition waiver for their own master's level or doctorate level tuition discount. So that's one thing, but I would always tell students to find the school that has your major, find a school that's a good price or location, and then start asking questions directly to that department or the admission office. So I work at my university for all of our undergraduate international admission. If you want a bachelor's, come in as a freshman or transfer. But if you want a master's, I would send you to a different department. And so every school is a little bit different in how they operate for admission, scholarship information, and so forth.
Thank you. That was a great answer. And I think that's very important to always take into consideration the institutions that you are applying to and how it works, right? Usually for graduate programs, you do have to reach out to a department specifically. So research for the psychology department in institution, and then reach out to the person that is responsible for that department. So that changes. For undergraduate program, you reach out usually to the admissions representative, right? So many of you here are those people, right? So I think that changes a lot between what they're looking for. So Ana, keep an eye on, I'm going to say this in Português for you, Ana. O EducationUSA tem vários eventos que a gente organiza sobre o processo de candidatura para as universidades americanas, sobre o sistema educacional superior nos Estados Unidos. Então, se você ficar de olho na nossa agenda, no nosso site, educationusa.org.br, lá tem uma agenda de eventos que a gente sempre organiza com as universidades. Alguns vão ser mais especificamente para cursos de pós-graduação. Então, seria interessante participar e também seguir a gente nas redes sociais, porque aí a gente sempre posta os eventos que vão estar acontecendo naquela semana. Então, é um bom jeito de estar atualizada e também ter os contatos mais diretos com esse tipo de ensino. Se vocês tiverem mais alguma pergunta, podem fazê-las em português ou em inglês. E aí eu posso traduzir.
If I could add one thing in regard to Education USA and scholarships. For Whitworth University, for students who are applying as undergraduates, we do offer an extra $1,000 per year scholarship to admitted international students who enroll and show that they are registered with any Education USA advising center in the world. It is our way to support the mission of Education USA and to encourage students who are using the advice of the educational experts at Education USA.
That's great. Thank you, Marie. And I think also a good point to say also Education USA, the whole network, the international network, there is a list of scholarships that students can access to, and that's a great way to find other resources. And other universities do have different kinds of scholarships, so it's great to know when you can count on not only the help from Education USA, but a little financial assistance in that way, right? We had a question here from Marcelo. He's saying that he never left Brazil, and he is very interested in physics and engineering, and he would like to know how to apply to the colleges and universities that are here. So I don't know if any of you can talk a little bit about the application process.
Well, I think this is Casey with Western. I think it's important for the student to determine at what level they want to start. You know, are they looking for a community college, sort of a softer start? Do they need English as a second language first? You know, what are their finances like? What, as we've mentioned, what type of city, location, tuition, scholarship opportunities? So determine those things. And then from there, reach out to your international admissions representatives. We all have websites that are pretty, I would say, intuitive. They'll help you, but also when you're navigating, as you can see, 8 different websites here, 9 different websites, it can be very challenging or confusing to navigate each of those. So it's always a good idea to start first by reaching out to the representative and getting some basic information to help you get started. We are all eager to help students. That's our job. We love it. That's why we're doing it. And we will get you on track to where you need to go. And quite honestly, as you can see, we all work collaboratively in the state of Washington. And if we feel that we don't have a program that's a good fit for the student, we are happy to refer to another university or institution. And that's our goal and our mission.
Thank you very much, Casey. Yes, the application process varies depending on the level of education that you're looking for. Again, I'm going to say this in Portuguese just to make sure that everybody understands. O processo de aplicação de candidatura para as universidades, ele varia de acordo com o nível de educação que você está buscando, né? Isso vai depender se é graduação, se é pós-graduação, né? E mesmo sendo pós-graduação, se é um mestrado, doutorado, e isso sempre também vai variar de acordo com a instituição. Por isso que aqui na apresentação foi comentado como a Community College, por exemplo, não exige provas, né? Você vai enviar o seu histórico escolar e a admissão já é aceita, né? Para outras universidades de 4 anos, esse processo vai ser um pouco com algumas outras etapas, né? Então isso vai variar. Para mestrado também existem outras partes que são exigidas. E para entender um pouco disso melhor, eu recomendaria que vocês participassem também dos plantões do EducationUSA Brasil, que são horários em que orientadores do EducationUSA ficam à disposição para tirar suas dúvidas e explicar também um pouco do processo de aplicação. Então, para encontrar os horários que a gente tem dos plantões, você entra no nosso site, educationusa.org.br, e vai direto para a nossa agenda, que tem todos os horários desses plantões, né? Aqui em São Paulo, a gente faz um formato de live no Instagram, que vai ser amanhã, às 4 horas, no EducationUSA São Paulo. Tá? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to add one thing for Marcelo, and you mentioned that you haven't left Brazil before, and I think I just want to reiterate, you know, many of us, we all remember the first time, you know, we left the United States and maybe had an international experience. Many of us started in this field because of that. And so it's okay to be a little nervous, and we'd be happy to also talk about our experiences going overseas, perhaps for the first time. And Washington State is a really great place to start maybe that first experience in the US, because we do have international students. We do have a very progressive, welcoming environment. And so we hope you know that you would be very welcomed here in the US for kind of your first international experience. And so thanks for considering us.
Thank you, Katie. And we had another question that was sent privately. A student is saying that he's finishing his undergraduate program in international relations in Brazil, right? Which is sometimes has different names in the US. And he's asking about scholarships for English programs in the US, and if that is a possibility. I don't know if any of you could talk about that.
Generally, there's less scholarships for English language programs to study in the United States than if you're applying as an academic student for direct entry into, you know, core college level academic classes. So, and every school has different scholarships. Some schools might give generous scholarships to study English language at their school, and other schools offer nothing. But then again, look at the tuition of the English language program. So maybe the tuition's low, so that's why they don't charge or give you scholarships compared to other schools. So do a fair comparison of the tuition, scholarships at all these different colleges and universities that have English language programs. But almost every college has English language program. All of our schools here today, all of the 9 represented do. And I would start there by doing that comparison of the prices and the scholarships.
Excuse me. So another way that you could maybe save some money and study English before moving on to academic is, I'm sure a lot of us are offering online intensive English courses. So you could begin now. So Green River, the next quarter is starting January 4th, and you can start studying English. And in 3 or 6 months, depending on where you start, you could complete the program and then be ready for academic level. And then either start academic classes at Green River, or maybe be able to go into a university that also accepts that same certification. So by doing that, you don't have to pay for housing or health insurance in the United States. So there are some savings, even if you don't get a scholarship. The actual cost would be much lower than if you would have traveled to the United States, paid for your airfare, bought food, and paid for housing, whether a campus apartment or with the host family or things like that.
Thank you very much, Mark. I think that opportunity is very special, especially in this moment, right? So taking advantage of the online offerings of courses is very good for the career, and also for having this first contact, if it is the student's first contact with studying in English and having and studying at a U.S. university or a community college, a higher education institution, it's another experience. So taking advantage of that can be very beneficial to all students. And I noticed we went a little over time, so I apologize for that. I'd like to thank you all for being here with us today for this great presentation and for putting your contact information out there for the students to reach out. I don't know if you have any closing remarks that you would like to address.
Thank you for having us. It was enjoyable. Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you to all the students who attended. We really appreciate your time.
And just to emphasize once more, please do not hesitate to reach out to any of us with questions, even if it's just about like general questions about US admissions. We are all counselors. We're all passionate about helping students. Let us help you. Thank you.
Yes, and we can do individual Zoom appointments after today with any of the students or families that don't want to ask a question in a large group of 20 people. So email us, we can do individual Zoom later and help you with any individual need that you or your family might have. Obrigado, thank you, and hopefully we see you in Washington in the future.
Yes, reiterate all of that. Muito obrigada. We're so grateful to be here today.
Okay, bye everybody. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye, thank you.